waiting for the right time, waiting for interest rates to drop, waiting until they feel ready. But what if waiting is the very thing that keeps you stuck? Today, I'm joined by Adiel Gorel. Adiel is a real estate investment investor, educator, and someone who has helped people build wealth through smart long-term strategies. But what makes this conversation different is that we're not talking about the hype. We're talking about mindset, timing, and why so many people never get started. Adiel, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you back on the show. I want everyone to know that Adiel has his own podcast on our channel. So if you need information and advice on real estate, he is the man to go to. I'm so excited that you're here today.
Thank you, Stacy. It's a pleasure to see you again. It's really nice. I already enjoyed. We've been talking since the recording, before the recording started.
Yeah.
It's always really fun. I like your spirit and energy. And I'm just recapping very, 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 very quickly. In the United States, we have a miracle that doesn't exist in other countries. Some crazy mind has decided that when you buy rental homes, when you buy homes rather, not just rental homes, when you buy homes, you will get a loan called a 30-year fixed rate loan.
Yes.
So we all know that we have inflation in the US that just about to raise the cost of a postage stamp from 78 to 82 all the time. 40 years ago, it was 4 cents. Now it's going to be 82 cents. Same for everything. The cost of bananas, avocados, postage stamps, shoes, rents, houses, glasses, jackets, shirts rises all the time because we have inflation. It weakens the buying power of the dollar. You need more dollars to buy the same goods. And so inflation raises the price of everything.
Yes.
In the midst of this, some genius, and there are many reasons for it, I'm not going to go into, decided in this country, and only in this country, as far as I know at least, we will give you a loan that'll be the only thing that will never change.
Yes.
What? Everything goes up. The postage stamp was 4 cents. Now it's going to be 82, but the mortgage never changed. What? So now we read in the media, my God, there is a war, there is a this, and there is inflation, and the oil and the gas, and what are we going to do? And then everybody says, buy gold, buy hard asset. Well, good, because in addition to the miracle of getting a 30-year fixed rate loan, in order to activate the miracle and make use of it, to buy that, you need to buy a house.
Yes.
Property. So let's say you buy a rental property and you only need to put a small down payment, which actually stretches your budget, and you don't need to put much cash. You can buy another home, another home, another home. Instead of buying one home for cash, you could buy 3 or 4 homes for a mortgage and a down payment.
Right.
To buy those homes, I have already explained before, I like to buy in the Sun Belt states. Those are the states more in the southern part of the country because that's where the demographic flow goes to.
Yes.
I like to buy in large metropolitan places for diversity of jobs. I like to buy in the suburbs, usually families with kids. Kids go to school. It's like a root in the ground, very stable. And I like to buy brand new homes.
Right.
Now, what does it mean to buy? Obviously, you buy a rental home. It's in the name.
Yes.
It's a home that is going to serve as a, wait for it, rental. That's why they call it a rental home. So yes, you rent out the home. Now, how do you rent out the home? I'm near San Francisco. I'm buying homes in Oklahoma City. I'm buying homes in Dallas, in Raleigh-Durham, in Central Florida. How do I rent the homes? Well, this is my second year doing this after my high-tech life. My company has created an infrastructure in all these Sunbelt cities where we want to buy, and we have local property management teams and local broker teams.
Yes.
Brokers find us the brand new homes that we like to buy, and the property management teams rent them out. Since my investors bought well over 10,000 homes in the 40 plus years we've been doing it, we have markets where my investors and I bought 1,000 homes, 2,000 homes.
Right.
Imagine how much the property manager cares about you, Stacy, who comes in and buys one little home and you say, I'm such a tiny investor. Are they really going to care about me? Yes, because we gave them business of 2,000 homes.
Yes.
And they know if you're not happy and you tell me or my staff and we're not happy, they run the risk of losing 2,000 homes, not to mention hundreds more we may buy in the future. So we give you a clout and power. So yes, we rent out the homes. So you have rent coming in. And guess what happens to the rent over the years? It goes up with inflation. So today the rent is here.
Yes.
Tomorrow it's here. Then here. Then here. Then here. So that's why we'll talk about today why interest rates are so irrelevant. We'll talk about it very soon. But yes, you rent out the homes. And because your loans never change, but on average, the cost of rents and house and shoes and glasses go up with inflation.
Right.
You wait for 12 to 14 years, I found to be the best time. You come back, and even though you put a small down payment and you had a big mortgage, after 12 years, you're usually going to find your mortgage is nothing but a quarter of the value of the home. You have equity. Depending on how many homes you bought, you may have millions of dollars in equity. And then you say, aha, maybe I'll sell a quarter of my homes, even if I pay taxes. Pay off all the rest of the tiny mortgages remaining. Now I have all these free and clear homes, never have to work again. Let's go travel. Let's go do it. Let's do this. So, the only reason I decided not to retire is because very few people think about what it means to get a 30-year fixed rate loan, because most Americans were born into it. They think it's normal. It ain't normal. It is not normal. That's why I'm not retired, because I have a message. The only American that I talked to before I explained why the 30-year fixed rate loan is special, that got it before I explained it, is Warren Buffett, who was in touch with me in 2012. So now we rent out the homes. We have local property managers that rent the homes for us. Our company loves to look over the whole thing and provide our strength and our clout, whatever. And then all you need, in my TEDx talk, which I did a couple of years ago, I say the steps are: buy a brand new home in the suburbs of an affordable metropolitan area in the Sunbelt states, put a down payment, get the 30-year fixed rate loan, let the local property manager lease out the home, and then proceed to do the hardest action for a human being to do.
Right.
Nothing. Just wait. Let inflation, your new best friend, make you wealthy. It's not going to happen in 1 year, but you give it 10, 12, 14 years. I've been doing it for decades.
Right.
Thousands of people got wealthy, sent their kids to the best school. So now, today I wanted to talk about why something that's been in the media a lot is irrelevant. People say, but the interest rates are so high. They are so high. I can't invest now. I need to wait till an unspecified future, when all the wars are over, when all the oil is over, when all the Bitcoin is whatever, then interest rates maybe will be down, and then I would.
Right.
And who makes you think like this? The media. And I get interviewed by the media. So from what I see, I know it's a generalization, but the media is a 27-year-old living with a roommate in a rented apartment. This is the media that talks about real estate investing. So they are young people, usually, not all, but some, many, and their universe is very short. So they remember a few years ago, the COVID interest rates.
Yes.
With COVID interest rates, homeowners could actually get loans as low as 2.5%. Investors, maybe 3.25% was the lowest I've seen for an investor. 6.37, which is what we have exactly today, seems very high. It's double. So the media said the rates are too high. Wait, don't do anything. Now, for some reason, when people read something that the media wrote, they mistake it for the Bible. Somehow, I don't know why. A 27-year-old living with a roommate in a rented apartment wrote something, and millions of people, this is the Bible now. Let's not do anything, so people are not buying.
Right.
There's an affordability crisis. The rates are high. People are not buying.
Yes.
And I'm here to tell you, the interest rates don't matter at all.
Right.
How can I say that? How dare I say it? Isn't it sacrilegious to talk like that? Well, let's say that you put 25% down, which a lot of people like to put, and you got a loan at 6.37.
Right.
These days, the home is rented now.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start around break-even cash flow.
Right.
Break even? No, I want a huge positive cash flow. No, not break even. Really, remember, this is a longer term investment. It will completely change your life. It will
Right.
retire you. It will send your kids to the best colleges in the country if
Mhm.
you show a little patience.
Yes.
Let some time go by. The
Mhm.
rents, today it's break even. Tomorrow, the rents go up with inflation all
Yes.
the time. Then positive, more positive, more positive, more positive, more positive, more positive. Wait, relax, but get in
Mhm.
the game. In
Yes.
addition, there is another amazing thing. If you bought and you got a loan at 6.37 and you started at break-even cash flow,
Mhm.
let's say 3 years down the road, the rates go down to 4. I'm just making up a story because I don't know the future.
Yeah. Yes.
You can refinance down to 4. And now you change all your cash flow. People would say, but refinance costs money. Well, the lenders know how to refinance in such a good way that actually the cost of the refinance are built into the payments and are paid with inflation eroding it all the time over
Right.
30 years. So refinance is very, very worthwhile. And then why is that infinitely superior to waiting on the sidelines until the rates go down?
Right.
Now you need to be experienced and be in the field buying real estate rather than TikToking your way from your roommate's apartment.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go back to where the rates were 3% during the COVID time. The media, of course, said, what? The rates are 3%? Everybody should buy. Millions of people jumped in and wanted to buy. We only like to buy brand new homes, so that's the builders are selling those. The builders had supply chain problems from COVID, so they had limited supply, but there was a huge demand because everybody wanted to buy because the rates were so high. And even the media said, fan the flame, buy, and they were right. So the builder said, look, I'm getting much more business that I can handle. I can afford to be picky. Number one, I don't even want to work with investors. So investors couldn't buy. We needed to wait on waiting lists that took months and months and months to be
Yeah.
able to, for the privilege of buying maybe one home. It was almost impossible to buy.
Right.
Now, the builders have worked very hard to make supply higher, and it is very good.
Right.
Now, the media is telling everybody not to buy because interest rates are astoundingly high at 6% plus, which, by
Mhm.
the way, historically, it's unbelievably low relative to that one point in time when it got to be the lowest in history. It
Yes.
is higher. So now the supply is very good, demand is low, the builders are itching for you to buy.
Right.
So builders can afford to do all kinds of things to entice buyers. One of the things they're doing is they buy down your interest rate. You know, you do that.
Yes.
If you pay the bank a certain amount of cash, you can lower the rate from 6.37. So, for example, our company has a quarterly event where we invite the teams from the markets where we buy. They show us their properties, they tell us the story. So we had builders present properties in the last event, and our next event is in a month. It's on May the 16th.
Right.
We had builders who are giving you rates right now of 4% fixed for 30 years.
Yes.
How can they do it? They buy it down with money. So how ironic that the media is telling you not to buy because the rates are 6.37, but there are builders here willing to sell you properties and give you rates of 4%.
Right.
Much better to buy it now, because what's going to happen when the rate in the marketplace, maybe a few years from now, will indeed go down to 4%. Guess what? The media is going to fan the flames. Everybody's going to run to buy. Demand's going to be high. Supply is not going to catch up. Builders are not even going to want to work with investors again. You're going to have to wait in line. There's going to be a competition like your son, you said. So much better to buy now when the sellers, the builders are so friendly, so nice. You're not competing with people. You bought the property and you bought it with a low rate anyway because the builder bought it down.
Yes.
So it's infinitely superior to buy now. Now, a
Right.
little story from my own past. When I began in the 1980s, my first 20-something properties that I bought out of state were in the city of Las Vegas back in the day.
Yes.
And every one of my properties started out, I mean, the interest rates at the time were, are you ready? 14,
Wow.
14%. Now you can also imagine when the rates were 14%, inflation was also high. So now I put a small down payment and I bought all these properties with a 14% interest rate. You don't have to be a great mathematician to realize every property started with a negative cash flow.
Yeah.
Negative. I had to make up a shortage every month.
Right.
So first, I made sure I could on my 20-something properties that I bought. I was working in Silicon Valley as an engineer, getting well paid. I could afford those negatives. Also, I realized even at 14%, these loans were fixed. They still would not change.
Right.
Everything else was going up with the high inflation.
Mm-hmm.
The rents would go up, break even, positive, more positive, more positive, even at 14%. And that's
Right.
exactly what happened. Very quickly, I became break even and then positive and more positive as the rent went up with inflation. But
Right.
then a couple of years later, in the marketplace, interest rates went down from 14 to 12, to 12.
Yeah.
We all ran out and refinanced all our mortgages to 12. Everything became positive right there on the
Yes.
a few years more down the road, and the cash flow was getting more and more positive because the rents were going up with inflation. On average, we refinanced to the unbelievable rate of single digits. The
Mm-hmm.
media was going crazy. Single digit interest rates.
Yes.
Wow. We all ran out and refinanced to 9.95.
Mm-hmm.
Everything became very, very positive. So when the media now laments that the rates are at 6.37, I realize full well why I don't need to go to see stand-up comedy. It's already funny enough that 6 is so high. 6
Yeah.
is unbelievably low. Most of my career, if you told me that you can give me a loan at 7.5% fixed for
Yeah.
30, I would be dancing in the streets. 6.37 is very low. But in addition to that, to counter the mindset of the mob and the media fueled crisis,
Yeah.
the people said, okay, you want low rates? Here are low rates. You can buy these homes at 4% fixed.
Yeah.
So the interest rate is immaterial. You can always refinance it down. And the reality in the marketplace is builders are already buying down your rate.
Yes.
You can start now.
Mm-hmm. I think that
Money,
makes so much sense. But why do you think so many people right now are sitting on the sidelines because of interest rates?
the media says 6 is much higher than 3. Therefore, you shouldn't buy and you should wait until rates go down again, maybe to 3. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
the rates will never go to 3 again. I don't know the future.
Yeah.
But again, I just showed we already are getting very low rates at 4
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Yes.
So, it's people, and of course, there's the issue of affordability.
Yes.
People say, I don't want to start. Remember, most people in the country are not buying an affordable rental homes like we are buying. I
Right.
can buy a brand new home tomorrow at 250 new.
Yeah.
That's affordable relative to where I live, and it's not hard to do. But many people don't think like that. They say, I live in San Francisco. I need to buy a house for $1.7 million or 2.2. I can't afford it. Affordability crisis. But when
Mm-hmm.
you're an investor and you say market A is too expensive, let's go to market B. It's cheaper.
Yes.
We can buy in market B. You don't like market B? Let's go to market C.
Mm-hmm.
You have a buffet of great markets that are affordable to buy.
Yes.
So when you're an investor, you enjoy this kind of flexibility.
Right.
People are afraid because of affordability, because the media says the rates are high. But when people realize that actually in the field, once again, the rates are actually low. You can
Yeah.
buy 4% fixed right now from certain builders. Certain builders will give you 4.75. Some will
Mm-hmm.
give you 5, but certainly less than 6.37. So,
Right.
and in the future, if the rates go down, you refinance down if you need to. Or if you
Yes.
bought for 4, you're likely not going to have to refinance, ever again. So that's why rates are immaterial. It's very important to get your first property bought. Your first property is the most important one. Your first rental property,
Right.
especially out of state, because all your fears, oh, what am I doing? I'm buying out of state. Is the manager really gonna rent it? I don't know. Maybe I should visit. You should. Maybe I should go. Maybe I should did. Maybe I should did it. My father says it's not good. My wife, my husband. Okay. So buying your first property and now it's rented out and boring takes care of all of those initial fears. Buying property number two is just a repetition of the same process.
Right.
So breaking the ice is important. And how much better is it breaking the ice now when the supply is high, demand is low, the sellers are very friendly. It's a buyer's market. Go for
Right.
it.
I
So,
agree.
so the interest rates are immaterial.
Very true. Now, why do you say interest rates are not the thing people should be focused on? Because a lot of people always focus on the interest rate, and that's their main focus.
Two main reasons. Number one, already because of the hysteria surrounding marketplace around interest rates, the people who sell you the properties, the media, the builders rather, have said people are scared about interest rates. I'm going to give you low interest rates. That's it. No fear, no worry. Here, you want 4%? You got 4%.
Right.
That's very low. It's one of the lowest in the history of all time. So right there, it's not relevant. If the builders can lower the rate by paying down, it's called a buy down, buying down. It's not relevant. And then also it's not relevant because even though you get a fixed rate loan for 30 years, if the rates do go down in the future, you can always refinance it down. It literally sounds too good to be true.
I agree. Now, what are people missing when they obsess over rates?
They're missing those exact two things that I said. They're missing not doing anything. And
Right.
because I've been doing it for a long time, Stacy, I gotta tell you, how many times have I sat across the table, the desk, from two people? One of them just started buying. They broke the ice. They bought home number one. The rates, you know what? For the first 20 years that we did it, most of my investors bought at rates of 8.75, 8.5.
Right.
Of course, they refinance later down to 7, whatever rates came. But, I sit with two people. One of them says, okay, I want to get started. They buy property number one. They see it's renting. It's okay. The other person said, no, but the rates are like this. No, I can't buy. And there's a war, and there's oil, and there's this, and there's the president. And I sit again with the two people, 14, 15 years later. Same two people. We all look a little bit older. One of them owns 27 homes.
Right.
Retired, send their kids to the best schools, don't have to work, wealthy person.
Right.
The other one sits there crying with real tears. They never did anything. There was always a reason.
Yes.
There was a war, there was an oil, there was in this, there was a gold, there was a crypto, there was a president, there was a bad president, a good president, there was a war again, rates were like this, the rates were like that.
Yes.
I can tell you that I can tell you about 3,000 success stories of people getting wealthy and retiring and sending their kids to the best school who never got loans lower than 8.5% when they bought.
Wow.
When they bought, as the rates went down later on, they refinanced down.
Yeah.
So the initial rate, immaterial, as long as you can sustain whatever cash flow you'll get. But when a builder gives you 4% on a brand new home today, you're going to start with a positive cash flow, which is only going to get more and more and more because the rates go up with inflation.
Yes.
But the mortgage never moves.
Right.
That's why rates are not important.
That's so true. Now, I see this all the time. People wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, like you were saying. What is waiting actually costing these people?
Everything. There's inflation that is constant in this country. There are many reasons for that. We're not going to go into it. That's not the scope of what we're talking about. There's constant inflation in this country. So the cost of everything goes up. You need more and more money.
Yeah.
Sometimes the salary or the income doesn't necessarily keep up with inflation. Sometimes it does. But the cost of these houses goes up. When I said you need $2 million to buy a good home in the area where I live,
right,
35 years ago, you could buy a good home here for $90,000.
Right.
Now you need $2 million.
Yeah.
So what are you losing by waiting?
Mhm.
Everything is running away from you. But when
Yeah.
you get into the game, when you start owning houses, the value of your own houses keeps going with inflation. Now, I'm not saying everything goes up in a straight line. Things
Yeah.
can go up and down, there could be recession, but overall, on average, the cost of everything, the cost of socks, shoes, onions, rents, houses goes up.
Right.
So you even in San Francisco, you used to be able to buy homes for $70,000, and
Right.
today they are 2 million.
Yes.
You're losing, putting your, it's like the person who has gold. So inflation doesn't scare me. I have gold. It go, okay. Same with houses.
Right.
So when you get into the game, now you're moving with inflation.
Mhm.
Your house is becoming more valuable. So the
Right.
sooner you get in the game, the better off you'll be.
Right. It's so true. Now, do you see patterns in people who delay versus people who actually take action?
Well, and that's why I like to get people to start really small. And
Mhm.
I'm willing, and literally, I will be there for you to buy your first home. We will hold your hand. We've done it thousands of times. We'll connect you with our managers. They really want to please you because they want to please us. So I want to help people break the ice and buy home number one.
Yeah.
Home number one. I sometimes get calls from Silicon Valley. Somebody says, I just sold a company and I
Mhm.
want to buy 100 homes. And I say, how about you buy one? Just to break the ice.
Right. That makes so much sense. Now, this is the big one. So many people believe I'm too old to start. Why is that belief so dangerous in our society?
It's a very good question, Stacy. So I said already, because of the great, anomaly and the most amazing gift in the world that we have, which is the 30-year fixed rate loan in the face of constant inflation,
Yeah.
you want to buy homes and they will completely change your future between 12 and 14 years because that lets inflation do its job,
Mhm.
decimate your loan to become very tiny. And now you build all this equity and you have all these options. So it takes 12 to 14 years.
Yes.
What happens if you start when you are 45?
Mhm.
So 12 to 14 years means you'll be 57 to 59. You say, hey, no problem. I can start at 45, 57 to 59. I could be rich. And
Right.
I have thousands of stories. The person who bought 16 houses in their 40s and at age 57, indeed, they say, okay, I have 14 houses. The mortgages are now decimated by inflation. I have
Mhm.
millions of dollars in equity. I'm selling 3 or 4 homes of my 14, paying tax, paying off all the other mortgages. Now I have 10 or 11 free and clear homes. I'm retired. I'm good
Right.
at 57. But
Mm.
what happens when the person is 57?
Yes.
No, I'm too old. I should have done it when I was 47. But now I'm 57. I'm so old. So old. I should have. I could have. I would have. I should have. And I would have. And I could have. And I would have.
Mhm.
Really? Are you old? Now, there is a misconception which I want to correct and clear up.
Right.
Younger people have a notion that at age 65, the government sends a special commando unit to your home to kill you. You're done. You're finished at 65. I'm here to tell you that is not true. So you're not only going to statistically get to 65,
Right.
you're going to, guess what? Get to 75.
Mhm.
And many people now really care about what they eat and how they move and how they sleep and they eat clean. You'll get to 85.
Yes.
And if you look at the obituary section of your paper every Sunday, you'll see people dying at 95 and 101. And this is now in 2026.
Yeah.
Now with AI, medical science is advancing exponentially.
Yes.
We can't even guess what they will be able to do in 5 years, let alone 10.
Right.
If you think I'm Stacy and I'm healthy and my husband and I care about what we do and we exercise and we eat, and I
Mhm.
believe we are very likely to get to age 95.
Yes.
By the time you are 70, there could be medical science that will take you easily to 110.
Right.
In fact, the challenge will be, how is my money going to last me all these years? Well,
Mhm.
if you own rental homes, the answer is obvious. I have rental homes. My rent constantly goes up and keeps with inflation. I'm in a good way.
Yeah.
So when you're 57, let's say 12 years, you'll be 69 when your life is completely changed thanks to these homes.
Right.
You're not too old at 57. How about if you start at 65, which you'll be so surprised how many people call me to get started at 65.
Right.
Well, that means at 77, 66, 67, 68, 69, you'll get better and better cash flow because the rents go up, but the mortgage is the same. But at age 77, you'll be in a completely new way. You'll be traveling, retiring 77. And you say, oh, 77 is old. Really? When you get to 77, you're not going to think it's old. I met with a good friend yesterday who is now 78. He's running, he's doing, he's there. I have a good friend who's traveling the world with his wife at 81, and they're just starting. But the real reason it's never too late is a construct. Sometimes I think the United States is just crazy for real estate investment. It's truly too good to be true.
Right.
So there's a concept, there's a fact, something in the tax code called the step-up basis. The step-up basis. For your listeners, if you don't know what the step-up basis is, look it up. Look it up in Google, look it up on any of the chat, GPTs, whatever. Look it up. But I'll quickly explain. When you buy property, a rental property, you can depreciate it. You get the tax benefit of depreciation. As you depreciate it, you're lowering the basis for taxes.
Right.
So I'm going to use an example that's ultra simplified. No commissions, no sales expenses, just to make my point.
Right.
Let's say you bought a rental property for $100,000. If you sell it the next day, you'll sell it for $100,000. If I ignore all of the commissions and closing costs, you bought it for $100,000. The basis is $100,000. You sell it the next day for $100,000. If I ignore all of the commissions you sell it for $100,000. So you sold it for $100,000 the next day. You pay taxes on the $100,000 that you sold it minus the basis, which is $100,000. Zero. You don't pay tax if you sell it the next day. Now let's say you keep the property for a long time, decades. In the meantime, you depreciate until the basis is zero.
Yes.
Now the property is worth, for the sake of my example, it's worth $1 million with a basis of zero. If you sold it, again, ignoring expenses to sell, you pay tax on $1 million minus the basis, which is $1 million minus zero, $1 million. You'll pay a hefty tax. Now, what's the step-up basis? We as humans have an interesting feature in our life.
Yes.
We always end up dying. Sorry to say, but we do. We end up. Our life is limited. At some point, we pass away. The step-up basis is a tax provision, you can look it up, which says on the day of your passing, the basis of your property goes up to the value of the property on the day that you passed. So now you have $1 million property. I already said in my example, the basis is zero. If you try to sell it one day before you die, you'll pay tax on $1 million minus the zero basis, a huge tax on $1 million.
Right.
Next day you die, step up basis. Now the basis is $1 million. The value. Next day it went to your heirs, to your kids. Now they want to sell. They will pay tax on $1 million minus the new stepped up basis of $1 million. They'll pay tax on $1 million minus $1 million, zero. So people start investing at any age, knowing it's not only for them.
Yes.
It's also for their kids. Here is a real example. One of my good friends is a physician. He's a specialist. He retired at 58 thanks to these houses. His boss, who had already retired, is a retired physician who used to run many doctors under her. She experienced the wonders of the step-up basis when her late husband had passed away. She saw, lo and behold, everything went to her, no tax, because of the stepped-up basis.
Right.
She began investing with us at the tender age of 84.
Right.
Began. Recently, she turned 90.
Mm,
And she still bought two more properties. She knows it's not only for her,
you're right.
it's for her kids.
Mm-hmm.
When she passes away, everything goes to them on a step-up basis. So it's never too late. It's
Right.
just another story people tell themselves to
Yes.
be in the comfort zone of doing nothing, but never really amounting to much.
Right. Now, if interest rates aren't the main thing, then what should people be focusing on?
As I say, you might want to listen to my TED Talk, my TEDx talk. Go to YouTube, put my name, Adiel Gorel, and TEDx. It's only 11 and a half minutes. Once again, buying a brand new property in an affordable, large metropolitan area in the suburbs, brand new. Put a small down payment. Let the local property manager lease it for you. You don't have a local property managers? Get in touch with us. Send us an email. info@icgre.com. We will help you. We have property management for you. Let the manager rent the house and then just wait. That's all you
Right.
have to do. We'll hold your hand throughout. Break the ice with property number one.
Mhm.
But trust me, if you do it 10, 12 years later, you're going to look at yourself and you're not going to be the same person financially.
Right.
By the way, it's not only financially. This kind of building equity, building wealth, building an inflation-proof future,
Yeah.
not just inflation-proof, inflation now is your friend, helping you,
Yes.
generates all kinds of side benefits such as confidence in every other business, confidence in life, feeling of, I talk to some people who say, I'm out there in the dating scene and I'm being measured partly as to my financial stability. Well, those things help a lot.
Yes, they really do. Now, what separates people from building wealth from those who don't build wealth?
Well, it seems like almost everything is 95% versus 5%.
Yeah.
5% just go ahead and do stuff. 95% don't do stuff. That's why I try to make it as easy and simple as possible and
Right.
say, brand new homes, we will even help you, hold your hand,
Yeah.
break the ice with one home. Imagine you break the ice with one home that's $250,000. You put 20% down, it's 50,000, closing cost and loan cost. Let's call it 60,000. Those are not few dollars, but it's
Yeah.
certainly not the same as trying to buy $1 million home. So you
Hmm.
can start easy. I absolutely have not retired because I have a message and I want to make it practical and easy and have been. So
Yes.
we will help you. I mean, in fact, everyone who is listening to this is welcome to join our next event, which is on Saturday, May the 16th. It's by Zoom from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time. And you can register on our website, icgre.com, under events for free. This way I don't have to explain everything again and again. And you'll see the markets, the properties. I will take a lot of questions. We'll have a CPA talking. We'll have an expert that talks about, some other subjects. We'll have an expert on credit, how to make your credit as good as it can be. And we'll even have an expert explaining how, when you send your kid to college, how to get college grants
Right.
when you thought you couldn't because you make too much. Not true. All of this, May the 16th. You're all welcome.
I love that. I love that because we paid a fortune for our kids' colleges.
Hey, when I say I didn't retire, I enjoy all of this. I enjoy speaking to you now. But as I said before, I make music. I have a studio there. I was just in Nashville playing live for 3 nights with a live band.
Yeah.
I have a health and wellness podcast, the Adiel Gorel Show. And I just finished my book number 7. This book is not about real estate or health. This is in my youth. I spent years traveling the world as a young man with zero money. I didn't have money. So you are hitchhiking. You're sleeping who knows where. You meet all the young people in the field. You're not a tourist going to the lobby to meet all the other tourists. No.
Right.
So when you travel the world with no money for years, you have life dangers, you have adventures, you have crazy things. I finally put it in a book. One of my songs about hitchhiking is called Hitchin'. I chose to call the book Hitchin'.
I love it.
So just came out. So, you don't have to retire to be able to have the balance.
Right. That's so true. So what are the first, like, 1 or 2 steps someone can take right now if they wanted to get started?
I will absolutely tell you the simplest step. And it sounds like I'm self-serving, but really I don't need I have my own homes, and get in touch with me. I will talk to you one-on-one. Send us an email, info@icgre.com. My staff will get in touch with you. I'll talk to you. I'll guide you. I'll hold you by the hand. I can't think of anything simpler.
Yeah. That's amazing. I'd really like to go into the emotional side. Let's talk about the emotional side. How much do fear and uncertainty and, headlines impact people's decisions? We talked a little about it earlier, but how do you think, what goes on in the media and, you know, and the emotional, maybe the fear, the overwhelm, like, oh my God, I might fail. What happens if I can't pay the mortgage? What happens if this? How much do you really think that impacts, a person's decision?
Enormously, enormously. It's very dominant. That's why only maybe 5% of people will end up doing it. Maybe 10
Mhm.
if we are lucky.
Right.
Most people will not. That's why I've been striving for decades to simplify the process, buying brand new homes,
Hmm.
having property managers who manage 1,000 homes for us and really care to please everybody and
Yeah.
do a good job, buying good markets, affordable. But yeah, you're right. The psychological barrier is high. That's why starting small is the thing to do. Starting with one property. And it's not only that. Many people are married. Now
Mm.
you're dealing with two people. The two
Right.
people are not the same. I talk to a lot of married couples, and one spouse is always more, I want to do it, and the
Yeah.
other spouse is no. And it
Mhm.
doesn't go by gender. It doesn't go. Sometimes it's the wife who wants to go, sometimes it's the husband. So,
Yeah.
you need to have both people on the same plane. Again, maybe a good start is just to listen to my 11.5 minute TEDx talk on YouTube. But, again, I'll be happy to talk to both spouses. It's not easy. That's why start with one affordable, brand new property. Once you've done that, property number two will be much easier to do.
Right.
Property number three, you're already going to be much more immune to the noise in the media.
Right.
Remember, a good portion of the media are not real estate investors.
Yes.
They don't really know it from inside. And
Yes.
so you will be the one to know it from the inside, because now you own 3 homes and you see what they are like. And now you're immune to those messages.
Yes.
You actually know more.
Hmm. It's so true. And how do you stay grounded when everything around you feels uncertain?
Well, there's one thing that's very clear. The population of the United States is growing. People need a place to live. In some markets in the country, housing is not affordable in a very acute way. Like,
Right.
again, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San
Hmm.
Diego, New York City, very expensive places.
Yes.
Then you have places like, Oklahoma City and Tulsa and Dallas and even Raleigh, Durham, which are a little more expensive. Some
Hmm.
places in Florida where you can buy homes for 250, 300, maybe 350, whatever it
Yeah.
is. But that's much more affordable. And for people who have a steady job with a salary, and sometimes I talk to a couple, they have 2 jobs.
Right.
If you don't build something for the future, one day you're going to be a casualty of Google firing you. And what do
Hmm.
you have now? But if
Right.
Google fired you and you own 16 homes and they're already a few years into the game where the rents have gone up with inflation, you're in much better shape.
Yes.
Even people who make a lot of money in sales jobs or high-tech jobs, if you don't translate and parlay this money into
Mm.
something solid,
Yes.
and there is demand for housing in the United States, it doesn't go away.
Right.
People need a place to live. That's universal.
Yeah.
So the office market has seen ups and downs, the storage market, but housing, people
Hmm.
need a place to live and be with their kids to go to school.
Right. That's so true. Now let's make this real for our listeners. If someone is starting from scratch today, what should they do first?
Again, I will jump through the hoops and say, get in touch with me. Get in touch with me. I could be retired. I choose not to be. I spend well over half my time helping you. I'll help you. By the way, if I sound self-serving, do I charge you for it? Guess what? I don't. How
Uh,
could that be? What am I, just making stories here. We used to charge every investor for my involvement, the involvement of my staff, building all the infrastructure with the managers and the brokers all over the country. We used to charge. And
Right.
then I saw people love to complicate.
Yeah.
So I went on a counter wave of trying to simplify. About 20 years ago, I said, you know what? We're going to stop charging you. I will help you. I will talk to you, connect you to the markets. Me and my staff will look over your investment. You can
Exactly.
consult with me, at any time,
Mhm.
and I will not charge you. How can we run a business like this? Here's how. To do what we do need to have a real estate license.
Yes.
Because we have a real estate license, we can split the broker commission, the local broker teams in those fields,
Yes.
paid for by the seller. So that's how the company sustains itself.
Yes.
These are not large amounts, but it's enough to pay for my staff and the office and the legal and everything like this. So I don't have to support my company from my own houses. That's not a good.
Right.
So we don't charge you anything. We just split the broker's commission locally that the seller pays anyway, not the buyer. So not
Right.
only will we help you, we're not going to charge you for it.
I love that. And what should they avoid?
I would say the criteria of where to buy it, for me, is buying in the Sunbelt states because the demographic wave is going to the Sunbelt states.
Yes, it is.
Sunbelt states are states like Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. I don't invest in the Midwest or in the North. Large metropolitan areas, I already said, for economic diversity. Suburbs, brand new homes. So don't be tempted. I talked to a person and they told me, I'm going to buy homes in a tiny little village of 5,000 people,
Yeah.
200 miles south of Chicago. Not safe to me. Avoid all this hype. Just go the route that works.
Yeah, I agree. Now, what is one smart move that they can make this year?
Well, to tell you the truth, again, I'm saying it for the third time, so it sounds like I'm trying to, but I'm being practical.
Yeah.
I'm an engineer by background. I'm a Silicon Valley guy.
Right.
Listen to my TEDx talk. Listen to my TEDx. Go to YouTube. Put my name. It's Adiel Gorel. And TEDx. You find it. 11 and a half minutes. That would be step number one.
I love that. Now, if someone is listening right now and they've been waiting for the perfect time, what would you say to them?
Well, there is no such thing as the perfect time. I've met enough people who for 40 years have not yet done anything. In fact, I know a guy from the Hollywood set. I worked with a lot of people from the movie industry. And he waited. His friends were buying properties. He wasn't. He waited for 15 years, but then he started and he bought a good number of properties. And today he's retired. He moved to Florida and he's doing very well. It's just, there's never a perfect time. When I began,
Yeah.
you could say it was one of the worst times. The rates were 14%. Not a good time to start, but that's when I started.
Right.
At any time is a good time to start when you get in the game, and now inflation starts working with you and for you rather than working against you.
Yes. Yes. Now, for everyone who's listening today, can you we've talked about your services throughout, but can you go over the services that you provide for people and where they can find you once again?
Yeah. So our website is www, of course, .icgre.com. RE Real Estate. ICGRE. And you can find us there. You can register to our next event, or, we have events every quarter. It's always free for you. You can register icgre.com under, events. And then to reach me on our website, there is a way to reach and say, I want to meet with Adiel. Our staff will call you. Or again, send us an email, info@icgre.com, and our staff will set up a meeting for us. I really strive very hard to make it as painless as possible for everyone, especially the busy people. I work with a lot of people who say, I'm a doctor. I run 3 clinics. I have no time, but I know I need to build something for my future.
Right.
I try to make that person, or somebody is a teacher or a truck driver. Everyone is busy. Everyone. Many people have kids. I strive to simplify it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And for all the listeners out there, most people don't fail because they make the wrong move. They fail because they never made one move at all. The right time isn't something you wait for, it's something you decide. Adiel, I love when you come on the show. And I have to say that I purchased an additional home because of you. You are just amazing and you are a great inspiration to all. Adiel has a podcast underneath our channel and he has his own podcast as well. So please type in his name and you'll see both podcasts pop up. Take a look at both of them. You could be on a beach right now, drinking margaritas, but you choose to help people. And I've learned a lot since I've met you. I admire you and I really love what you're doing. And I thank you so much for being on the show.
Stacy, you have great energy. You run the show beautifully. Your questions are great. It's really a joy to be here.
Well, thank you so much. And you have a great day.
You too.